Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And I'm here again in the lowlands, and I'm at the Lindores Abbey. And you might know it because it's a very, very historical place for the Scottish whisky. It all starts 1191 with the Earl of Huntingdon, and he founded this abbey with about 20 Benedictines monks from France, and there was a maximum of 20 monks who were allowed to live here, and it's a huge place, so 20 monks is really not that much, but they were all specialists. So they were trained, someone masonry, trading, writing, medicine, maybe making some beer, wine, whiskey. All these trades were amongst these monks, and they traded a lot internationally, most of them with their brothers in France and Flanders, which is nowadays Belgium, but back in the days it belonged to France. And so they were really wealthy here. But the most important thing comes in 1494, where King James IV actually ordered 6 balls of barley turned into aquavit, and aquavit in Gaelic uskba, whiskey. So that was the first time someone ordered something distilled out of barley. Back in the days, the king, and so it's the earliest records that you can actually see in the historic archives in Edinburgh. As you can see, the place is kind of a ruin because in the 16th century there were Catholic monks, and now came the Protestants and actually trashed the place and scattered the monks to the winds and turned it into a ruin. In the 17th century they actually used it as a masonry and took some stones and built Newburgh out of it. So there are only ruins left, but it's a really, really cool place to go through, and it's a historic monument, so nothing gets changed here. Some archaeological diggings are done right here, but that's it. But in honor of the abbey, they actually built a distillery right next to it, and it's called the Lindores Abbey Distillery. So let's just go in and find out how they do their whiskey. The more recent history of the distillery actually starts in 1913, where the great-great-grandfather of Drew Mackenzie Smith actually bought the farm. This used to be a farm, and the Lindores Abbey was just a side garden or something for the farm. And so in 2017 they actually turned it into a distillery. That was Drew and Helen Mackenzie Smith, and they built something quite nice out of this farm. They rebuilt some buildings, also added new buildings, and it has a nice shop, it has tasting areas. It's all in the style of an abbey. They have a lot of information about the abbey that is not just with distilling whiskey, but they have the trade routes and an old map that is very awesome. They have all the masonry information about that, about writing, about how they cut peat around here and all that, beehives and all that kind of stuff. And if you follow this hallway to the big door in the end, you can actually go into the production. The ingredients of the distillery are very, very local. They have their own borehole where they can get water from very down at the bottom, and that's very, very pure, very good. They don't have to filter it because it's just that good. Also, they get the barley very, very locally it's all from the county of Fife. It gets malted around here and then sent to the distillery. So they don't have their own malting, but most of the distilleries don't. They grind down to a coarse grist, and it ends up here in the mash tun with a lot of water. And it's about 2 tons of grist, and you get about 10,000 liters of mash out of it. And this is really where the magic happens of creating the sugars, because you have in the barley you have a lot of starch. Through the malting process it gets built into sugar, but the mashing process with all the enzymes in the malt split the starches nearly perfectly into sugar, and that's what you want to have, because the sugar is really what you can turn into alcohol, and that's what it's all about. The distillery has 4 wooden wash bags made of Oregon pine or Douglas fir. Oregon pine is the American name, Douglas fir the European one. They are filled with 10,000 liters, as we just had from the mash tun, and they do have a special filtering technique, so they have a very clear wort. And that's what they're looking for. They are fermenting very, very long, 96 to 114 hours to create the flavors. You could usually go with like 40 hours and have the same amount of alcohol, but it's all about the flavor. So with a clear wort and 100 hours roundabout, you come out with a very, very, very fruity wash. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for fruity and even going into tropical fruitiness. Tropical fruitiness is really what you get after 90 hours. Below that, you don't get any tropical influences of tropical fruits. And this is where the flavors have been created, and let's see how we distill these flavors out in the right way. Behind me are the stills, and if you look at that side, you see a very, very nice overview of the old abbey. But if you look around, there are walls over there, so the abbey used to be bigger, so where we are, they also used to be with the abbey. And that is really, really interesting because there have been archaeological digs already, and it's a very historic and protected place. Anyway, let's talk about the stills. We come in with 10,000 liters of wash, go into the wash still, and both of the stills are with reflux balls, and all of them have the line arm declining, which is important because if the vapors rise, you have some oily vapors which have a bit of spiciness in them, and they all condense in the line arm and are saved into the intermediate or the new make. So after the first stage, after the wash stills, we have still a lot of fruitiness. And they say we have pineapple, we have mango, so it's still very, very tropical. Very similar to the wash after the wash still. And if we are done with the spirit stills with 3,000 liters each, they say they turn a little bit more into red fruits, still a lot of fruitiness. That's what they're looking for. Very, very fruity new make spirit. But with the falling line arm, they also have a bit of a black pepper note. A lot of famous whiskey connoisseurs who tried the new make say they have a bit of a black pepper note in that, and they really love that note in there. So I'm really excited about trying the new make. But before we try the new make, let's get into the warehouse and have a look how the whiskey is matured. They repurposed the old cattle shed for this warehouse here. This is their only own warehouse, and it's not just warehouse where the first cask sits, but it's also their spirit tank and their bottling facility for bottling and emptying casks, and also bottling into bottles. And yeah, so all the filling is done here. Probably in the future they're going to do some re-racking if they want to do a finish. And this is about 5% of their casks end up in this warehouse, and about 95% of the casks go out to other warehouses in the country. This warehouse is a bit strange. As I said, it's the old cattle shed, so it's not very good insulated, so it can become very cold. They told me sometimes they get -10 here, and it can go up to about 30 degrees Celsius in summer, which is quite hot for a whiskey warehouse. But as I said, 90% of all their whiskey goes out to warehouses all around Scotland. That really helps with the insurance and makes their production a little bit less pricey. In terms of the cask selection, they do a lot of bourbon barrels, they do wine casks and sherry casks, so that's their main focus. But they said they are very experimental. They do a lot of casks that are all legal. You're not allowed to do different kind of fruit schnapps and also gin, so they don't do that kind of stuff. They mentioned one thing, it's the Apera. Never heard that before. It's kind of, it's a fortified wine that is kind of similar to port or sherry, but obviously they're not allowed to call it port or sherry because it comes from Australia. It's the Aussie version of their fortified wine, and they use a few of these casks to check out how that actually affects their whiskey. Also, if you go to their website, you find a private cask selection, so you can get your own casks filled here, and the only rule they really have is you have to mature it so there comes out a whiskey in the end. But you can do very much with them individually. Just have a look at their website, you will find the private cask program there. So this is it with the whole process of how Lindores Abbey whiskey is made, and I got to try their new make and their current core range, I would say, and let's just get into the whiskey. So I'm sitting here with Lorraine, and you're the whiskey maker, blender, and you've been here from the start, 2017, 8 years, and you're a food engineer.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having us here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Welcome to Lindores Abbey Distillery.
Yeah, so how did you come to the distillery? What does a food engineer do here?
Actually, I was specialized in sensory analysis. Mm-hmm. I was working before in a food lab in a company that we were producing different type of dairy products. Mm-hmm. So playing with the flavors was always my passion. Mm-hmm. And arriving here to Scotland, because I'm originally from Chile. Okay. Arriving here, I arrived just in Newburgh, and the distillery at that time wasn't even built. I'm talking about 2010, mm-hmm. and the distillery was opening in 2017. Because I was local, I just approached the owner thinking about, probably whiskey will be a very fun place to work. The distillery looks amazing, and I was very passionate about this magic liquid that was very special in the culture of Scotland. Mm-hmm. So it was a very, if I have to say it, it was my dream going into nice. This. So I was expecting that probably the owners will say, okay, we'll see, or probably no, or probably yes, probably mm-hmm. later on in the show. But they said, actually we're not even producing whiskey, because that was September, and they were starting to distill in December. Mm-hmm. But we have a nice project here with the Aquavita, mm-hmm. and that was more inviting for me. And I thought, that sounds so cool. They said, well, you can come and see what we are doing. And I came here, and I was starting to work in the distillery, but playing with the flavors of Aquavita at the start, mm-hmm. because the whiskey wasn't even ready. Mm-hmm. And with the new make, of course. Yeah. Oh yeah, talking about the new make, can we try it? Of course. The new make is quite it's not low level of the bottle. Is it still strength, barreling strength, or it's drinking? No, it's 63.5. Okay, so barrel strength. Or cask strength. It's cask strength, but it's not even in a cask. Mm-hmm. So you can see the actual DNA of Lindores is here. Yeah, so this is the stuff you work with, this is the... Trying to build the character of, mm-hmm. or recognizing the character of Lindores. And for me, Lindores is a Lowland malt whiskey, mm-hmm. but for me, Lindores is like a... it is beautiful. Fruity. It's creamy. Got the character. See, it's creamy. It's like strawberries or peaches mm-hmm. and cream there. Mm-hmm. It's telling a story. Mm-hmm. I like it. See, the Lindores is, I don't know, you were in the orchard before, mm-hmm. I mean the Abbey ruins, and we got a massive orchard here mm-hmm. in the local town. It's called Newburgh. And the trees were planted by the same monks that they were making Aquavita. They introduced the same varieties of apples, plums, and pears that the community still owns, and they are having like a plum market, fruit markets every summer. But that was in my mind when I was approaching the character of this. Is like a pear drops.
Yeah, pear. Little bit of I don't know what it is, raspberry or, but a lot of pear in there as well. It's a very fruity one.
And the texture is very creamy, oily.
Yeah, but in the aftertaste, you do have a bit of a spiciness going, a little bit of an oiliness going on.
Cheeky taste.
Yeah.
That with is like a moving you as well.
But very faint. So the fruitiness, creaminess, niceness, I would say, is overwhelming. I've added a few drops of water.
Yeah, to open the flavor. I really like a strength, but it's also the
much more fruity.
Yeah.
Much more strawberries, as you said. Yeah, creamy strawberries. Yeah, it's nice when you don't have the 63.
Yeah. It's opening more the flavors. It's like a bouquet opening. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
The quality is so high.
Yeah, I really like this stuff. It's a new distillery, so yeah, they usually have a good recipe because we now know better how to make whiskey back in like when you have traditions with other distilleries.
No, the guys are doing a very good job here in production. They do the cut very well, so it's very nice.
So, any recent orders from the king?
From the king since 1494. Actually, we're still waiting for a royal visit here for him to come and approach Lindores to see what he can wish for a special party, probably.
Yeah. But my real question would be: I've tried the new make. So, how close would the new make be to like Aquavita, like 1494?
Aquavita was the first ever product that we were selling here at Lindores. As you know, a new distillery has to wait at least 3 years and 1 day to release the first production of whiskey. So before that, if you think about the time of the monks didn't have the law, the maturation law. They were distilling, but they were infusing this the spirit with fruits that they got in their orchard.
Okay.
And also spices from their travels, because they were coming from France. They were traveling, but they stopped in Flanders, which is nowadays Belgium. But that was the link with the spice route. So it's well known that they introduced the spices here in Scotland. So adding spices, adding fruits to change the flavor, and giving that to the soldiers that were coming from the battles here, to recover from the battles. They gave this spirit, all infused with these spices, and the soldiers were, coming back to life. So that's why it was called Aquavita, water of life.
Okay, nice.
So because at the start of the life of this distillery, the owner at that time, he decided not going through the path of most of new distilleries who were taking the options to produce gin first, because gin, you can distill gin today, you can sell it tomorrow, but there were far too many distilleries doing the same thing, and that didn't have any connections at all with the history here. So our founders, they said, all right, we are not going to do that. No way we're going to do what the monks did here more than 500 years ago. Let's go and make Aquavita. And that was the first production of our new make spirit infused with the spices, fruits, and herbs.
Okay, and the next, is that a whiskey, right? Lowland single malt Scotch whiskey.
3 years after, 3 years later, after, Okay. So the first production of the first whiskey that we released here is the 1494.
Okay.
That one. So the 1494, look at the color. It's non-age statement. That means it's 3 years old. And
So this is really your first core range, the first expression you brought out.
this is my baby. This is my first. Yeah. So this is the first formulation. Working with the formulation of the 1494 was a big challenge because I was starting to train subjects in a sensory panel to approach the DNA of our Lindores spirit and taking sample of the casks when they were, getting the age of maturation, that they were possible candidates to go in the formula. So the fact that the casks were behaving very well in bourbon barrels, for example, I thought, okay, that meant to be in the formula. But also think that 2017 we opened here, +3 is a magic number. 2020. So what's happened there? COVID time.
Yeah.
See, sometimes we were forgetting that wasn't long ago. So 2020 pandemic was difficult to get together.
Yeah.
There were too many restrictions. So all the judges that were in my panel, they were not allowed to come here, and we didn't have the discussions like face to face. We had to send the samples, wait for the result, and then analyze everything. The statistical analysis was delayed because you need all the results. It was a long process. But the good part is that we all agreed that this one was the winning formula, and that is a combination of bourbon barrels plus the casks that were the spirits that were aging in wine casks, rejuvenated casks, and some sherry casks as well. They were our spirit was behaving quite well in the sherries.
So you came out with it in 2020?
2020 was the starting of the formulation, because that was at the end of 2020.
And it's still in the core range every year?
Yes. We released the first bottle in 2021.
Okay, first released in 2020.
Because it was at the end of 2020 was when the casks were ready. I mean, 3 years old. Yeah. But not all of them were ready. You had to pick the right ones.
Yeah, sure. But is the recipe still the same, or do you keep it constant, or it is changing a little bit?
No, that's the idea.
Okay.
Keeping the same character, the same formulations, to give the customer the experience of enjoying 1494 anytime with the same feelings, the same experience. But it's an elegant whiskey. I was so happy with the result, because the combination of this bourbon casks were giving the vanilla, caramel, that were playing very well with the character of the creamy, oily texture coming from the new make.
You do have a bit of a character of distillery character in here. You can feel the new make that I just had in here.
That's the idea. So nosing the new make, and then do the experience.
But a lot more round and vanilla caramel added a lot. You do have a bit more fruitiness as well. A little bit of a wine character, the STR probably.
The STR were coming there.
Oh, I like it. But you realize it's a young whiskey with a lot of fresh fruitiness, a lot of freshness, a lot of nice, creamy. So it's a light whiskey. I'm excited about how easy it will be. How many ABVs are we looking at?
This is 46%.
Okay.
It's very approachable. I was so happy with the result. That was my favorite. Sometimes you got a favorite formula, but it's not the winner of the whole panel. But this one was my favorite. I was so happy when we won. And then I thought, it's done. I'm so happy. My boss said, it's good that you are happy, but don't you think we had to be recognized? And I never thought about that. I said, just send the bottle to a competition. I said, okay. So I was looking online, which one is the biggest, award in America, because we need to cover the whole globe. And I thought, okay, San Francisco Wine and Spirit Competition, okay, a bottle there. Another one here, the London Wine and Spirit Competition, another one there. And then I thought, okay, I'm not going to think about that anymore, because if not, I will be so nervous checking the email every day now. And then, like 3 months after that, I received an email from United States of America, and it was a very long email. The first line was, "Thank you for taking part." I thought, damn it. And I was reading, I just skipping the thing, and at the very bottom line it said, "If you want to purchase your award stickers," awards? And I went up again, and I was reading properly, and we won not a gold, was double gold.
Oh, okay, cool.
Double gold, I was so happy. And then another email came after that, a few weeks after that, and was coming from the London Wine and Spirit competition. 2 lines. First line, you can see
the difference.
The difference of the culture as well. So 2 lines. The first one, congratulations. Yes. Second line, very concise. Award was outstanding gold.
Oh, okay.
98 points out of 100. Wow, amazing. So more than happy. And that was the first step. I thought, oh, okay, good. It's a very good first step. And then we were kind of open to do more creations and play with the flavors of the different casks that are that you can find in the warehouse. You were in the warehouse before, you could see the different type of casks. And we were jumping to different releases after that. And people are enjoying the whiskey, and that is our aiming. So we are aiming that every single people that are trying Lindores will have a choice first. So it's a broad choice of different flavors, but also ending the experience with a smile on the face. So that's good.
Yeah, I like it. It's a fresh one, but very sweet. You had it very sweet. You feel the bourbon barrels, and you have a good amount of sherry influence as well. Not quite sure how the wine influence in there, but it feels it's an easy whiskey. I would say, yeah, it's maybe a bit young for a beginner, but I would say it's still beginner friendly, and I like it. It's a very approachable whiskey. Yeah.
So that is our 14th, and see the finish is quite long for a 3 years old.
Oh yeah.
Nobody believes it's a 3 years old.
But the thing is, now that I had the third sip, you do feel a bit of that spiciness that you had from the new make, a little bit of that pepper note, just a smidge in there. That makes it a bit more interesting, I would say. Yeah. So we've seen, so this was like your first core big one, and we find more bottlings there. So how is the future of Lindores Abbey? Are you bringing out more of these, or are you bringing out age statements, or single casks, or what?
Our core release is based on our 1494 will be always on the shelf, and that is the idea of the distillery. Releasing new bottlings, like for example this Friar chapter 3 is a chapter every year as well. We got different type of casks that we can play with the flavors of the different type of casks that are aging and maturing in the warehouse. The idea of Lindores will be always offer something new, different, catchy for the people that are interested in something quirky to find something in the distillery. You have to find something that you really like and be happy after that. So the idea will be approaching different type of casks that are aging in the distillery, because one is the type of cask, another thing is the size of the cask. Which is a massive difference if you are waiting for a cask to be ready that is holding 125 liters, which is a quarter cask, or if you compare that with a bot, which is holding 500 liters. So, and also it depends of the supplier of the cask as well. If it's a virgin oak, if it's a second fill, if it's a first fill, there's a lot of varieties that are available there for us, and we got the choice. We had to just play.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. Is the next one, is that a core range, or is that also like chapters, or what?
Yeah, this is the Casks of Lindores STR. This one is the one. Let me put my glasses on. I think it's this one.
Yeah, it is the STR one.
The STR2 actually. Yeah.
Okay.
So there
Is
was
that-
a series.
So is it like chapters? Is it batch whiskey as well?
Yeah, this is a. See, remember when we were talking about how we were working in the formulation of the core release, our first bottle? Then we thought, okay, we can deconstruct the formula. We can release. If we were using 3 type of casks, we can release, for example, this one is like a single batches. So this whiskey is holding only wine rejuvenated casks that were used in the formula of the first 1484. The rejuvenated casks are red wine casks, and I have to say that I wasn't very pleased with them at the start when they were young. Talking about young when they were not even ready. So because I was following the process of the maturation of the different type of casks, the STR of the rejuvenated casks were quite unpredictable. Probably that will be the word. I was tasting one cask, taking a sample, I said, oh, this is not ready. It's like too stressed. There's far too many things going on there. Spices were so high. And then I was tasting the next one and was quite bland, so, which is at the same supplier, same, the same position in the racking in the warehouse, the new new make spirit, the same age of maturation age. So what's the point here? They are not quite of the same. They were all over the places. But then the year 2, they were kind of like teenagers, I had to say, difficult to work with, but you had to have patience with them. You had to give them time to reflect and mature. So I was ending one thing here. In Lindores, because we are a small distillery, we can choose the cask, can be hand-picked. You know what is going in every single bottle. So we hand-pick every single cask that will go in the batch. See, we know what is in the batch. So if we are going to do, for example, a production of the core, I got like 80 casks on the floor. I have to nose them and taste every single one. If one is not happy, that will be the word, is not ready, is not happy, leave it alone. That is not going to go in this batch. Have to wait for the next one. So another cask will surprise, but we are always choosing happy cask, if I could say. So this one.
It's more than 46. This is
49.4%.
Is that cask strength or just high strength?
No, it's just high strength because we only chose the one that they were ready because when they were ready, they were coming amazing.
It's less sweet. You don't have that. You have a bit of that vanilla caramel, but much less. It's more. Yeah, it feels a little bit like more like velvety, a little bit more like, I don't know, cherries or wine or grapes.
Plum jam,
yeah. It does have a bit of a
cinnamon.
Yeah, cinnamon. Yeah, it has to have a bit of a Christmas feeling to it. A little bit of that.
See, when I used to make plum jam. Yeah, playing with the jam, and at the time when the jam was just ready, I was tasting. I got the same feeling when we were making the STR. That scene was coming to my mind all the time. I said, "This is plum jam. This is plum jam," and it's cinnamon.
It's much stronger in the flavor than the nose.
These rejuvenated casks were amazing when they were ready. They were cheeky at the start, but they were coming to my favorite casks at the end. I was very annoying before, but then, honestly, very good.
But this is in the flavor, in the taste. You have like dark chocolate. You have a lot of grapes, red fruits. So where this one you feel like, okay, first fill bourbon barrel makes it a happy little dram. This one is a more settled, feels probably older than it is, but is it a bit older than the...
Chapter 2 is 4. It's a year extra.
Because okay. But it feels more older, I would say, because of the flavors that you get from the wine casks.
Sorry, when I say chapter 2, it's actually Casks of Lindores 2, because we released Casks of Lindores 1 when they were 3. Casks of Lindores 2 is when they are 4, and this is the last batch that we produced for them.
But it feels a lot older than 4 years. It feels more like I don't know, 5, 6, 7
And again,
years.
the oily, creamy texture is coming, and it's reminiscence of this plum jam, but it's telling you that this one is still there. Huh? That is the idea, that you can recognize Lindores in every single release.
Okay, and the thing is, you have a private cask program as well, right?
Oh, yeah. So people are invited to come here, have a look in the distillery, be hands-on in picking the cask. We have a full variety of different type of casks in the warehouse. Sometimes people are thinking how the whiskey will taste after 4 or 5 years in a small cask, but also they are interested in having a bigger cask sometimes. So we can give them an approach of what could be the style of Lindores in those type of casks, but if they are having something special in mind, they are also can request a special cask, which is good. They are invited to this program. People can come here and choose and pick any type of cask that they are thinking about. Yep. If they have, for example, I got a passion for cognac.
Yeah.
We have a person in charge, and he is our private cask custodian. He is able to actually choose the cask that the person got in mind, find the right supplier, and present it to the customer, and they are able to come here and fill the cask in person, or we can fill the cask if they are far away and they are not able to come over in presence. At the time when the cask is ready, they can come here, attend to the bottling. They do the right design of the labels. It's a very fun project. Sometimes people are coming as a whiskey club. Other times are, granddad who is giving a new grandchild, and this is like an investment for the baby to have something here, aging at the time when the baby will grow up and will be over 18, can come here and enjoy the whiskey.
18-year-old whiskey.
So there's different options for cask, private cask.
Okay, nice. So have a look at the website and find out about the private cask selection. Yeah. So what's the last one then?
Oh, wow. This is our Friar John Court Chapter 3. When I say Chapter 3, of course, we had other 2 chapters before. Friar John Court, was the monk who received the order from the king to produce the first aquavita here, when the king was planning a party in Falkland Palace. Who received the order here. Friar John Court was the monk who received the order. I'm not making things up. This one is in the Exchequer roll. You can go to the museum in Edinburgh, and that is in very, very thin paper. So you had to put your special gloves and roll up the thing, and it's there. From Lindores Abbey, Friar John Court. So we thought, we can pay tribute to Friar John Court. He was a very important person here. So that's why we are here, because they were distilling first. We are trying to follow the path of the monks. So Friar John Court is bringing a surprise every time. That's why I got the black bottle. You don't know what is inside, but we are choosing a different approach of what is Lindores in different profiles, using different type of cask, a new formula all the time. And this Friar John Court Chapter 3 is one of my favorites from the Friar John Court chapter.
Are you saying what's inside? What kind of casks?
I will tell you.
Okay. Looks a bit red.
Oh.
Red, is it?
Yeah.
A bit reddish.
This is cask strength.
Yeah. How much is the cask strength?
60.
Okay.
Yeah, 60.2. Wow. Oh, it's beautiful.
More subtle though.
Wow. See, working with this formula, I thought, I want something different, something special. The bourbon casks were very good casks, aging so well, feeling very comfortable in the cask and comfortable to leave the cask, always happy. See? But we had different type of bourbons. And I wanted to produce something very complex, balancing the flavors of the different type of casks. For me, the Old Forester bourbon, which is one of the type of casks that we use for this formula, is bringing some caramel, coconut, toffee notes from the maturation of our spirit there. So the whiskey is coming with that profile, very caramel, some citrus touches, but very elegant.
Yeah, citrus.
But for the other side, we have our Woodford Reserve cask. Woodford Reserve bourbon casks are more cheeky, are more spicy, is moving you. And I thought just the combination of both will bring me something very well balanced and complex. And it was. At that point, I thought, okay, but I want to add more complexity here. And I chose the Amontillado sherries.
Oh, okay, the Amontillado sherry.
I love Amontillado, yeah. I like Amontillado.
But is that the intermediate one?
Yeah, Amontillado is coming with notes of, like, apart from the fruity melaza, it's bringing some notes of like cigar ashes there, because it's aging under the floor, you know, in the sherry industry. So they got these quirky notes that were matching quite well with the Woodford Reserve part of the bourbon. So I was thinking, okay, Amontillado will go very well with the Woodford Reserve part. But then I thought, what is, you know, Amontillado is holding the heart of the Woodford Reserve. They all had to play together. What about the Old Forester? Old Forester is very sweet, caramel. We'll go for a sweet one then. So Sherry, the PX, Pedro Jimenez was bringing me all the rich melaza, treacle, very sweet stuff. So they were kind of balanced. So the Old Forester with the Pedro Jimenez holding hands, the Woodford Reserve with the Amontillado holding hands, they got a match. They are perfect, very well balanced. Cask strength.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Sludge.
I'm also excited, Slushy, with the water. Strange. It's in the nose. It's a bit subtle, but now that you have it in your mouth, it's really strong.
It's so
and
good.
you have a lot of fresh fruits combined with dried fruits and a bit of a molasses note that I know from rum, actually. A little bit of a rum note in there. Strangely.
It's a sweetness coming from the Forester.
Yeah, rum is always sweet.
see what is very important as well. We introduced something different here in the production of this whiskey, because when I was batching all these casks together, I got a sample. I thought, oh, this is beautiful. And then I was looking around. I thought, oh, what if, I had all the bottles around that they were empty. What if we put all the liquid back in the cask for a while? Let's see what is happening. So we put all the batching, all this whiskey back in the pot together, marrying there for over. It's like they were like a couple of months. So they were kind of knowing each other there, but getting more depth with more wood contact as well.
Okay.
The sherries were keeping working. They were very active cask. and the result is what you got in your hand. It's so nice. It's beautiful, long finish. This drum can last.
Yeah,
This drum can last for
this is more of a
hours.
complex one. This is a complex where you feel, there are more ingredients in there.
Yeah,
I mean, but I like your standard one was also pretty complex, but it's less sweet. You do have a few of the Old Forester sweetness and a bit of the bourbon character, but it's more of, it feels like a little bit like a rosé wine, really a white wine or something with a few berries in there. Yeah.
But this one is a special drum. It's for a special occasion.
So these John Core chapters, that they are batch whiskies and they're always something cool and special.
Something
I like it.
quirky,
Something quirky, yeah.
something that is surprising you.
Yeah.
Something that you are not even thinking that will.
Are they coming out annually or?
Yes.
Yes.
This
Okay.
is an
So the
annual
next
release.
one is in the making.
Yes, it's there in my notes. So we got a lot of ideas, but we had to find the lines there. It's taking shape, but it's coming at the end of the year.
So that is really cool, and I'm really looking forward to being here in 5 to 10 years again. Yeah, to how that develops, nobody knows.
Yeah, so that's the idea. See, sometimes it's better to wait for the right time because that is something that in the whiskey industry you have to have is patience.
Yeah.
So you can't force the things that have to come naturally.
Yeah.
So if the casks are not ready, we're not going to touch them.
Yeah.
We're going to use the ones that are ready, and they are happy to go out.
So I think we're through, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So,
I hope you enjoy the
Oh yeah, I did.
all the drums coming from just one session.
So thank you very much for giving us all these information, all the background.
Oh, you're welcome.
That was very nice.
Yeah, I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Please come back to Lindores. We'll be happy to receive you here.
And thank you very much for watching. And if you like to buy these whiskies, have a look at Whisky.com. You will find them there. Not quite sure if we have the new make, but we definitely have this one. And it depends on when you watch the video. There will be one chapter. Now it is the 3, but next year might be the next one. So thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.